Hello and welcome back for another tutorial. I hope you enjoy it, and don't forget you will find links to our website and other important stuff in the description below. Give us a like and subscribe to the channel, and you can come join us in our group on Facebook, which is Natalie's Cake Studio. Just search for that on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon. So, okay, we shall make ourselves some little oak leaves. So the oak leaf cutter is from our seasonal leaves, autumn leaves cutter set, which you can find on our website. So it comes with these three and of course the oak leaf, which has to be here somewhere because obviously I was using it earlier today. However, it is currently hiding from me. One moment, caller.
Were you lost, sorry?
Oh, it's there. Oak leaf cutter. There we go. And this one. So you get the set of four lovely sort of hawthorn come chrysanthemum leaf shape here. This one's really nice. The kind of round oak leaf, which is what we're going to use this evening, a spiky oak leaf, and then a nice big sort of maple come sycamore leaf, which is really nice. They give you plenty of different shapes and spiky bits, and yeah, just those different shapes and different things that you can kind of layer up. So we're going to go for this one this evening, and I'm just going to use my little veiner. Again, we have this on the website, same one I use for everything, but as I hope you'll agree, it works a treat, and it's very much one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of things. Right, base colour for our leaves, ivory gold. So this is one of our newer shades, and for all that I keep calling them new, I mean they've been out for well more than a year now. But you can see ivory gold, it's on our website as well, and you will see it. I'll do it just a little bit at a time. It is possibly the most versatile one we do. So a teeny tiny bit of it, and you can see as that mixes in there, you can make the softest, most prettiest pale creamy ivory colours. I could use even less than this for very pale, or we can add a little bit more to kind of hit those mustard yellow tones, which is what we want for our autumn leaves. It's a great base for autumn. Right, so I'm just going to mix that in with the one that I had from earlier there, and yes, it is a really nice shade. The burnt orange, so a little bit of burnt orange, Mo, as you just said, tiny bit of burnt orange makes gorgeous ranges of sort of peach and corals and stuff. And yeah, this is just, it's a really pretty colour. Really, really pretty. All right, good. Thank you very much, Tamsin, for the dahlias. That is one of the things on my list to do this coming week, is get myself a little bit more organised where all that side of things is concerned. I need to write a list, actually. This is going to be the sort of week that's going to require a list, I think.
Yeah, I think there will be many lists in the coming week.
Right, so I am going to roll out, and we want, you know, thin enough for things to be delicate, but it doesn't need to be so thin that it's going to disintegrate on us. Hi, so yeah, like a burger, a cake that looks like a burger or something like that. Exactly. It is like that Is It Cake thing, which we haven't watched. People keep asking us, and it's a bit of a busman's holiday, isn't it? So we don't.
Sorry, we do what? I'm
watching baking or cooking, not baking or
right,
cake programs. Yeah, we sort of.
We don't generally.
So anyone thinking of entering, including Mo, you totally should. It is.
They won't ban you. You can't be so bad that they ban you.
Not that any of you guys would be. I've seen your work. None of you would be. It is good fun. It's an opportunity to do something for you. So I did wedding cakes 6 times, I think, and got 6 golds. We're not.
5 times, surely.
Was it 5?
5, I feel.
Anyway, a few times. And it was always an opportunity to try things that were different. So it was in the competitions where I found my love for doing the black and the navy cakes, using the bright colours and experimenting with things a bit. So it really is a tremendous opportunity to stretch yourself and stress yourself. Now, if that wasn't a Freudian slip, I don't know what was. It's a tremendous opportunity to stress yourself. Yeah, and do different things. I would love to do. Every year I look at the competition schedule and I say, I'd like to do that, I'd like to do that, etc. And then it just becomes impossible. Especially, we might be taking on another side project for Cake International as well, in which case it'll be even more impossible. Can you imagine, Chris?
What? Yeah. No,
it's the Ivory Gold, Carolyn, and yes, you just got to read the rules 1,000 million times and make sure you don't get disqualified, because getting disqualified is without doubt miserable. And so often when you see people that have got the not to schedule disqualifications, it will be for silly reasons that are so totally controllable and avoidable. So you just got to read those rules and schedules until you know it off by heart. And it's not, remember that you're not competing against each other per se. And even, do you know what I was about to say, in terms of like, first, second and third in class and whatever, I suppose it is a little bit against each other, but even then it's not. The only person you're really competing against or for is yourself, really. And yeah, it's just, you should do it. And definitely read the rules.
But yeah, push yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll also pray for you. Right, I'm going to pop these in here just so they don't dry out too much. So what I wanted to, in fact, let me do 2 of these. What I wanted to show you, I'm waffling away about competitions. So of course this is your whole leaf, so we can have some of these full size, as you can see, like so. But we can also do some that are a little bit smaller as well. And to make them smaller, all you're going to do is just sort of follow the lines, follow the bumps, as it were. Use knife, cutting wheel. I always prefer cutting wheels, like that. So you can just remove a little bit and thus create yourself a smaller leaf. We can do the same again here, but a little bit further up, like so. And of course, you can play with it if you wanted to. We could slim that bit down, just remove a little bit of the bump there. Whatever you want to just create those varying shapes. But it really is as simple as just following the line of the leaves, and you can do that. So Sandra, the powder was I got distracted too. The powder, it's just corn flour. So I just have it in a little pot here, and I've got one of our fluffy corn flour brushes, and I just do it like this because I can control how much I'm using with a much more precision than having it in a puff where it sort of goes.
Did you explain why you used
it? And it stops it from sticking. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it just stops it from sticking. So we have, and I'm glad you spoke up and said you're new, because I shall explain things betterer than otherwise, because one does get distracted. So yes, we can trim those down, and thus we have 3 shapes and sizes. And of course, if you want to make them different again, all you need to do is just flip them over, and every so often, and you just get the different shapes and things. So we want to attach these to some wires, which we will do with a twiddle. I've got some 26 gauge wires here, but you could use 28 if you've got it. I wouldn't go any heavier because you don't want to, you want to be able to move things around and rearrange them and so on. And if the wires are too thick, you end up in a position where you're trying to do that and you're having to fight the sugar work. So you want Yeah, a 28 or a 26 would be perfect. I've got 26s here. And I tend to cut them into about quarters. And we are going to make some twiddles. Now I can see you talking about it, so I'll let you into, well, I was going to say a secret. This used to be the case. The CI competitions are a little bit different than the BSG ones. I think that generally speaking, Cake International is perhaps a little more sort of forward thinking. She says, trying not to be impolite. So yeah, they are like, you should definitely do it, guys. If you're even thinking about it, you should definitely do it. Right, so I have got my wires. I am going to wet the end of my wire, just a little bit there. I'm going to make a twiddle. So I've got a little sausage of flour paste. We're going to pop that in there, and then we're going to give it a nice twist and a twiddle down to create that nice slim shaft of paste on the wire, which is what we'll use to attach it to our leaf. This is a slightly fiddly technique, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I always tend to do it that I'll put the paste on the top and then I twist it down. I have students who put the paste into the middle and then twist it up, which, as you can see, I'm not so good at, but if it works for you, then go for it. And I have students who, especially when they have sore hands, will start it off with their fingers and then roll it on their petal pads to finish it off, which again, I'm not so good at because this isn't the method that I've practiced endlessly. But any of the above is absolutely fine to create the twiddles there. And then once we've done that, we're gonna I'll take the longest one there for my biggest leaf, pop a touch of water on it, and we can just attach that. Do the same with the other two. Here's the last one. And then you're just going to take your veiner, and as I said, I've just got very simple, it's a rose leaf veiner, but it makes beautiful veined patterns. And we'll just lay it on and give that a nice firm press to pop the veins on. And then we can just go around those edges with a ball tool. You can see it just gives it a little bit more shape and makes it a bit more dynamic. And then we will pinch that shut around the bottom and just twist off any excess like so. I have a question for you, Chris.
What's that?
Did you cross-post this into the group?
No, no.
Okay.
I'm going to do that.
Thank you. So if your veiners, stick in, use a little bit of corn flour on there. And again, we'll just line it up and give it a good press. And then come and go round those edges. Pinch that shut down there. And again, remove any excess. And of course, if you want to, we can give it a gentle bend in a shape. And it's quite nice. Sometimes you're going to want to pop them something like that, or on some foam to shape them, or sometimes they're going to be just the sort of shape that's right to sit in some polystyrene. So whichever it is fine. And then with this larger one, what I'm going to do is use the veiner twice. So I've positioned it and I'm putting pressure on the top of the veiner, and then I shall reposition it and repeat. And then we've got this lovely, it's veined the whole thing. Hi, Mark. Mark is a young man that we know from doing pub quizzes together about 1 million years ago.
Maybe years ago.
We're all grown up now, aren't we?
Actual adults.
Yeah, well, ish.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Right. So again, we'll pinch that base shut. We can just give it a little twist and shape and so on and so forth. And we can pop him aside to dry. And actually, this is a perfect example of one that will sit like that rather nicely. So I shall put my fresh ones in there. You can sit and dry, and then I've got the ones I made earlier. Right, so we have got, these are the ones that I am going to use this evening. We've got the leaf green, the tangy green, and the yellow ochre. Then we've got some burnt orange, some rusty red, some burgundy, and some mega pink. And they're just, it's glorious, absolutely glorious. And I figured, like these, we can just do a little bit of a variety. I've got plenty, and I know we all enjoy the dusting bit. I'll do a few at a time. And I can see that there's some questions there, so I'm going to do my best to do this and answer questions at the same time, which sometimes is successful, sometimes not so much. So I can see Mo has said that she's still struggling to find navy sugar paste. Is that, are you struggling to find it in Northern Ireland, or struggling to, I was going to say someone that would ship to, but no, everyone should ship to. I mean, for all that it often takes a bit longer, in theory, it's just normal post, isn't it?
Yeah, you should just get that.
I will, let me have a look and see what I can find for you. Just drop me a message, Mo, and if not, you can colour it yourself. It's just some fairly intense effort. Let's put it that way. So you can see I'm going in first with some yellow ochre. It's a lovely mustard yellow colour. And it's just intensifying that yellowy colour. I learned something really interesting the other day. So with paints, you'll often find like yellow ochre, sienna, burnt sienna, umber, and they are all earthy tones that are literally made from different minerals and stuff. And when you get ones such as burnt sienna, and it's a darker tone, it's literally where it has been burned to make it darker, which I thought was exciting. Or at least it is in my little world. What is my favourite tool or gizmo? Probably the Rapid Rose pad, which is, yeah, our first product and the first sort of product invention of ours that's used for making roses, would likely be the most sensible answer to give there. I love our brushes, which I'm using now, and I love all of our colours, which over the last few years has expanded to a whopping 69 different colours. Is that right?
Yeah, overall.
Across the metallics, the matte dusts, and the gels, which is then just a little bit bonker. Hi, Paula. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so you could, Carol, that's a cracking idea. You could totally airbrush those cakes, Mo. You'd want to make sure that you had some really good quality airbrush colour, and you would need to do it in a number of layers, really slowly, building the colour up, so that you got it nice and dark and a proper navy. What you could certainly do, actually, if you were going to do that, what I would probably do would be to get my cake as dark as I could. So I would definitely colour the fondant, even if I was doing it by hand, and end up with a decent base. So say a blue like this, and then if you were to airbrush navy on top of that, you would get to navy much easier. A bit like when you do, if you want black buttercream, you do it chocolate, because the cocoa helps you on your way to getting the colour. That's a really good idea. It's a really good idea. Right. So that is our base. And we are now going to make some of them greener, some of them pinker, some of them oranger, and it is going to be fun blending and adding all of the colours. So, for example, this one here, he can be a greener fellow. So you can see they're going in. I don't know why I used a brown brush. Let's try for a green brush. So it's going in with that tangy green. And we can make it greener with some leaf green as well. And the trick is having these lovely soft brushes. I'm always using the kitchen paper so that I'm sort of getting the dust out of the pot and then kind of rubbing it into the bristles so that the colour is in the bristle rather than on the bristles. And the trick is these repetitive brush strokes that let you blend the colour as it's added. Now I think we could also do, and take a little bit of rusty red there just to deepen the base just a little. You can see where the red and the green is mixing, we kind of get in this lovely brown shade. And I think that, I would leave that one like that, so we kind of got a greener base is what I'm trying to say. So we can have some more green on, say, this one, just a little bit there. And we can have some burnt orange, start giving us some warmer tones. Now, one question would be, if you were a branch on a tree, if you were a branch on a tree and you had leaves, would they start dying from the tip or the tree end? Probably the tip, like the closest.
The whole leaf, I suppose.
But like, would they be more brown and whatnot closer to the tree or further away from the tree?
I don't know. I would have thought. You'd say from the bottom, I guess, but I don't know if that's true.
See, I feel like it would stay greener closer to the tree for longer because it's closer to the tree. I don't know.
Yeah, but then that's where it starts to die off, I guess.
Sandra says the tip. So do you think the tip would be greener or deader? I mean, that's our choice, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So look, can you see? It is really, with the autumn stuff, just a case of throwing the colour on. And it is just that the absolute essential part is to just blend, blend, blend and keep blending. And as you say, it's these little repetitive brush strokes. Oh, they die closer to the light, which would be the end. The tip would be deader. Okay, fine. Because then what I'll do when we put these together, we'll put the redder, browner ones at the top and the greener ones at the bottom, as if it's a, yeah, the tip's deader. There we go. Technical terms. So I've got a little bit of burgundy here.
What so the question now was, how long do they need to dry?
Oh, so I made these this afternoon. Provided it's not too damp, a few hours will be dry enough. What I'm doing here, a little bit of burgundy, pick the leaf up, let's move that so you can actually see. And you just got your brush perpendicular to the leaf so that you just catch the edges. And we're not really colouring it burgundy, but it does give just a little bit of extra definition there. And actually these ones I've done then, we can sort of start to lay out just a little bit. So again, and of course if you wanted a bit more definition you could go for a little bit of brown or something, you know, much darker. So we could probably do with another greenish one to sit near the bottom-ish. So again, we'll take some tangy green. Read out Mo's comment.
About diabetic?
Yeah. Mo was a nurse, and I just think it's really funny that the comparison you'd make.
Sensation in the farms to ages is because of poor circulation.
Yeah, which I suppose would be the same for a tree, I guess.
Yeah.
It just made me chuckle. It is a beautiful colour palette, and autumn is definitely my favourite because there's no other season where you can just sort of throw colours on quite the way that one does at this time of the year for these things. So what I'm going to do now is not use any of the green at all. We're going to focus in with some oranges. So it's a little bit of the burnt orange there. And we'll go for some more rusty red. Like so. And actually, if this is an in-betweeny one, you can even have a little bit more yellow. And perhaps just darken it there, around those edges again with a bit of burgundy. So hopefully you can see that sort of progression, as it were. It's warm. Oh, that would be nice, Mo. Winter tights in there. There's have you seen? I keep getting ads on Facebook for a company called Snag Tights, and they're not cheap, but they claim to actually fit, and they do a fair few number of different sizes, and like, for want of a better description, different widths. Because obviously if you buy bigger tights, oftentimes it just means they're taller. Well, if you got, you know,
Longer?
Yeah. If you got solid childbearing hips, it's no good having, was it Norma Bassey, wasn't it? That always had the wrinkled ankles. But they still don't stretch around your backside. So yeah, anyway, Snag tights apparently. Right, I am going to go in with a little bit of this Mega Pink, which is just glorious. And sitting on top of that yellow there, we get beautiful orangey pinky tones. And the trick with these things is that you're always going to get, and actually for this one, let's just do, oh, there you go, we've got positive reviews of the tights.
So what's special about the tights?
That they actually just fit.
Oh, they just fit?
Yeah. It's like they modelled them on an actual woman instead of just a mannequin, yeah. But they often have funky colours and things like that. Right, so here, yeah, we're just going to do pink and burgundy. And you can see, having not added any of those other tones, you just let that pink shine right through. Oh, there you go, and we're going to get Caroline will report back as well. There we go. So we've got quite a nice... So I've got 2 left. And we could do... I feel like we could have maybe...
What are you saying?
I'm just working out if we've got any gaps. So I think this one could go here and be a bit pinkier. Actually, maybe that little one, and then this one can come down here and be a greener jobby. Jean, yes, you could absolutely do these on maple leaves, 100%. Maple leaves tend to go even pinker, really, aren't they? So if you wanted to, you could kind of skip the green part of this altogether. Focusing on the pinks and perhaps use a little bit of our bright red as well and sort of really get those colours going.
Yeah, they're quite reddy, aren't they?
There we go. Then this one we want to pop a bit of green on. Do you know what? I do like the medium brushes. I've got a greeny one. No, right, we'll have this. So yeah, you absolutely could. How long will these last? They will last as long as you are able to keep them out of direct sunlight, because the colours do fade over time a little bit, as with most things, and keep them dry. So pretty much, I mean, I've got sunflowers that I've had for years and years and years, haven't we?
Mm.
But yeah, keeping them dry is the main thing. And actually, we were at a friend's who had some display cabinets with some quite old pieces in them, weren't they?
Yeah.
That were fine because they'd been in a display cabinet. And thus kept from getting wet or anything. So yeah, if he slots in sort of there-ish. Yeah, I think that's a nice... Oh, sorry, you can't see half of those. Yeah, I think that's a nice little journey from the one set of colours to the other. And I will just go pop a little... There you go, a little bit of that just kind of messed up green there. And it's just toned that pink down a smidgen. And he could maybe have Just a little touch of pink and burgundy. But yeah, the point is with these, more than anything, well, you're going to make a colourful mess, but to have some fun with it. Because where autumn's concerned, there aren't too many rules. So we've got all the colours and the brushes and everything we sell on our website, which is immaculateconfections.co.uk. I'm really bad at ever actually saying that, aren't I?
Oh, we are.
And yeah, they are. Oh, you can see so leaf green, tangy green, yellow ochre, burnt orange, rusty red, burgundy, and mega pink is the combination we've got. So I'm going to do my favourite kind of tidying up just now, which is to swoop out of the way. And the first thing I'm going to do is just tape up the stems of these with some brown so it's nice and twiggy. So floral tape is paper, and it's sort of crinkled up, and there's a kind of waxy substance in the crinkles that when you stretch it, it releases the wax, and then the heat from your hands and the friction sort of heats it up enough that it becomes tacky. So it's not like sticky, but it's tacky. It is wide, so I've just cut this in half because it makes it a little bit easier to use. And we want to just use it to just tape up the stems of these leaves just so that they're brown and twiggy, like so. Now what I'm actually doing, how I do this, again, a dozen different ways to do it, but how I do this is I cross the tape over the wire, fold it underneath so that I can sort of pinch it with my hand here, and then I'll roll it, wrap it round once or twice till it's sort of on, and then I can twist it. So I tend not to glaze my leaves. The main reason that I don't do it is because when you apply the glaze, whether it's spray glaze or if you brush it on, where we've got all this beautiful soft colour gradients and transitions, the glaze dissolves the dust and you sort of lose a lot of that detail, I think. So I tend not to glaze them. There's not really enough dust on there to be coming off on the cake. They're not even close. I mean, it's, if I take a clean corner of tissue, you can see even if I rub it on, there's a tiny bit, but there's no circumstance when you
could shake it, I guess.
Yeah, give it a little blow, but there's no circumstance you're going to sort of rub it on the cake. So no, you just what I would do. So if something's going on and the back is going to be visible, then I've touched the back. But most of the time on sugar work, when it's, you know, up the side of a cake or something, you can't see the back, so I don't bother. But can you see like there's a little clump of pink just there? All you want is just a brush, just that, and all you're doing is getting rid of any lumps. It's only if you've got any particles sitting there sort of loose that are on the surface, those might come off, but anything that has been applied and adhered itself to the petals or leaves isn't going to be a problem. And then it's also, so the one exception with the glaze and that is if I want something to be shiny. So if I'm doing something kind of tropically where it is specifically waxy or shiny or whatever, then one will glaze. But under normal circumstances, I tend not to. I don't steam them either, because I'm a rebel like that. Does that count as punk, do you think? Can I still qualify?
I don't know what the definition is. I'm going to look it up now. Really un-punk way. So again, just one last time, because this is the last one. Fold it under so you can hold it, wrap round, and then you can twist. Nope, don't steam them either. I don't see a need. Really don't see a need. And Sandra, yes, well, it is florist's wire, but it's specifically for cake making, so it's kind of covered in paper, which makes it much easier to use for these things, whereas the stuff that doesn't have the paper on it just sort of slips and slides all over the place. So it comes in packets like so,
and in a couple of different colours as well, actually. So I've got, I'm going to use some 24 gauge just here, and I shall cut this and we'll use it as our central stem. And I'm going to show you guys a little trick from our classes, which you just want some cling film, and you want, what's that, about 3-4 inches of it. So you've got a little rectangle, and just pull it so that you make a smooth sausage, like so. Take your wire and just wrap the cling film around it. And all this does is it's just making that wire thicker to make it twiggier, and you can wrap the cling film as unevenly as you want to make it knobbly bobbly and further enhance the twigginess. And once that cling film's on there, we'll just take some full width tape and just go over it. And remember, with this, we want to be kind of rough with it because it's a twig rather than, it doesn't need to be too neat. We want it twiggy, is what I'm trying to say. Like so. Yeah, it's fairly twiggy. So that one's going to do, oh, I don't need that much. Oh, that was weird. Hang on. It was a total automatic thing of taking a big bit of cling film as opposed to just a wee bit. Yeah, so I'll go wrap around this one as well. So yeah, do I qualify as punk for doing it differently?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so...
Holding on to that youth, Christopher.
Involving opposition to authority expressed for a shocking behaviour. Close hair, lines, that's just more of the scene, I suppose. But yeah, I guess punk is doing anything counterintuitive, I guess.
I don't know if that... Oh, that was 2 bits, that was what I was going to say. That bit seemed to last for ages. Right. Again, we will tape that up. Like so. And then what we can do, the reason I've made 2 is just because I'm going to do a branch and an offshoot branch like so. But we'll start at the top here. I'll go back to that half width because it's a little easier to handle. And I'm just going to attach that on, take one of my littlest leaves, hold him alongside and wrap that tape around to bring that down like so. And then that little knobbly bit on the end we can just sort of bend. Again, makes it look twiggier. You can have that one sort of there. And it's nice, it's always nice, especially if you're doing like autumn leaves like this, to have things off at different angles. They don't all have to be sitting in exactly the same way. And because everything's on wires, we can bend it and shape it and so on. So I think, let's see, we could have this one now. Actually, yeah, because I think I kind of took the leaves out of order there. So it would be, we'd want that one, that one, that one. Yeah, those would be our next ones. So I think if we're going to pop him there, we could have, yeah, that one can go there, attached onto that branch. I'll use this bit of tape. So Sandra, yes, you absolutely can. So this video will stay on the videos on our page here. If you've enjoyed it, I would suggest you come over and join our Facebook group, Natalie's Cake Studio, because we do a live video pretty much every Sunday. And many of those have been in that group where there's a whole back catalogue. Because we've been doing this, it's been about 3 years. No, it's been more than 3 years. Someone asked the other day how many there were, and I figured it must be, I would say, somewhere between 100, 130-ish maybe, I don't know, because we haven't missed that many.
No, I mean, I suppose we've missed more this year than we have in the past.
Right.
But yeah, no, there must be at least, there must be at least over 100.
I thought so, which is bonkers. And some of you have been with us since the beginning, and that's the real nuts bit, is that you stayed. Right, so can you see how I've just adjoined those two twigs there? And I think it would be nice now, we'll have a slightly smaller one again. And he can come about there, I think. Like so, maybe this one here. And do you know what? I feel like I need another twiglet. So let me bring the tape down there. Yeah. Just want another little bit of 24 gauge wire. There we go. Sometimes there's some cut at the bottom, and a little bit of what's the name? It was since
No, it was just before the pandemic. Well, just as the pandemic started.
Well, it was kind of because of the pandemic, really, wasn't it? Have a twiglet. Oh, what? Right. I was trying to remember the other day. This is going to go completely off topic because of twiglets. So in the same aisle where you'd get the twiglets, what are those little? They're really garlicky. They're only about that big, and they're like little crunchy bread things. They're not croutons. The shape of them is like a slice of French stick, but they're tiny and they're crunchy and they're really, really garlicky. Does anybody have any idea what they're called or know what on earth I'm talking about?
Was it in part of the other roll?
Hey?
Oh, there.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Because I couldn't remember what they were called, and it was really annoying. But they'd be on like the twiglet aisle, or with the twiglets and the mini cheddars. They're not quite crisps. Or I've made it. It's one of those things where I've just made it up.
No, I think they're
See, no, it's not a bruschetta or a breadstick. My grandpa used to eat them. I'll have to ask my mum if she can remember. She wouldn't have liked them because they were garlicky, but she might remember what they were. Maybe it was a crostini. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Ringing a bell.
But like seriously garlicky little tiny things. And yeah, they'd be put out in a wee dish. And we'd munch on those whilst the grown-ups had their scotch and water. Right, so yeah, we're going to have the beginnings of a greeny one here with that sort of sticking out this way. I don't think chipsticks. What's it, Chris? Google chipsticks. Please, sorry.
Oh no, that's like those.
They're like French fries.
Yeah, alright.
I haven't had those for a long time.
Didn't even know they were still around.
Yeah, I'd like them as well. I don't know, but they're on.
Powdery, but they were nice.
They're on.
Crummy,
They're not gluten free, so they're not something we have anymore. We used to like. Do you remember in the pub when they started doing? They were like little. They were bits of pretzel. It was like big, crunchy pretzels, but they were little broken bits, and they had different. There was jalapeno and something ones.
Oh yeah,
and they were nice as well. So this is the other thing you get on a Sunday is Chris and Natalie going off on one heck of a tangent as well. So I'm just going to tape up this little bit of end here. But you can see, so I probably only spent, I don't know, half an hour, if that, making those leaves earlier. And obviously I've been waffling away, but in not even an hour, we've got ourselves an oak branch. And that, imagine that on the side of a cake. It's so pretty. And of course, if you wanted to, you could have, you could add some acorns in. I think we did a live that had acorns in some time ago, didn't we? Maybe I'll show you how to make acorns next week.
Probably last autumn.
It could have been, or the one before. Hang on, there's some. Oh dear. No, I can't get to them without running the risk of destroying everything else. I can manage a couple. Oh look, they're all dusty because they've been sitting there for a really, really long time. But yeah, you could. Yeah, if you're good, guys, I'll show you how to make some acorns next week. She says. Yeah, it's just it's the colour, right? And this is the thing, and this is what that I just absolutely go on and on and on about. And it was, I can't tell you how lovely it was yesterday at this BSG demo with a few people. A few folks said it, and it is absolutely what we're about. That it just, you don't need all of the fancy pants bits of equipment and 1,001 different veiners and all the rest of it. You know, we've managed to make ourselves 3 different sizes of wasp name from the one cutter because we trimmed it down, which only took a second. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial with me today. Don't forget, all the links are in the description below. Give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube, and we will see you again very soon indeed.